So in the first verse that we read, verse 39, this is called introspection. When one should be constantly seeing what is the result of my actions, my words, and my thoughts. Especially thoughts, they are very subtle. So, in the Bhagavatam, it says that Dhyatur Dhya Swapna Manorato Yata, that by the power of the mind, we think that at nighttime I'm sleeping, but in the daytime I'm very awake. Otherwise, we think that that this day, whatever I'm doing in the day, is useful. But actually, when we're in material consciousness, it's just night dream and daydream. It's like some people daydream. This is common. They're thinking about all kinds of things. I'd like to do this. This weekend I can enjoy like this. But it's no different from the night dream. It's even worse, because in the night dream you have no control. But in the daydream you have control. You have so many options, spiritual options. But when we're Krishna conscious, then both the daydream and the night dream. I was explaining last night that a devotee, when they take rest, they're thinking this body belongs to Krishna at a very minimum. If you're very fortunate, you can only sleep like the 6 Goswamis for 2, or Srila Prabhupada, 6 Goswamis 2 hours a day, sometimes 1 hour. Srila Prabhupada would sleep basically for 3 hours, and then he would generally take rest at 10, and then he would get up at 12:30 or 1 to translate. And then he would take 45 minutes in the morning and maybe another half hour during the day. So if you can do that, then you can control your sleep. It's recommended that a devotee should sleep very soundly. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that susupta. Susupta means that the sleep is so deep that one perceives the soul. Of course, better than that is you can dream about Krishna. And better than that, you don't even sleep. But that's not so easy. Srila Prabhupada said at the last about 2 months before he left the body, he said, "Finally Krishna has satisfied my desire. I always wanted to give up eating and sleeping. Now I can't eat and I can't sleep." So this is the same thing as we're seeing here with Kasyapa Muni. A devotee always thinks about how can I make my service better. Not that I'm doing the maximum. No, I can only tell whoever's in charge, I can only do 3 hours of service, or 5 hours. But actually, if we live in the ashram, we do 24 hours. There is no personal time. And even if you don't, if you live in your grihastha ashram, also every time is Krishna. Time is a manifestation of Krishna. And it either takes away our life, ayur harativa pumsam, or it gives us life by using it in Krishna's service. Otherwise, by taking it, just like we take advantage of chanting the holy name, although we don't want to take advantage of Krishna, but Krishna offers himself in the form of the holy name that for Chetodarpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadvagdi Nirvapana, to clear away the immediate contamination within the heart, and to also clear away the karmas, all those hidden things within the subconscious, within our destiny. Bhava Mahadvagni Nirvapanam means you get rid of the underlying source of that dust. And then Shreyakariva Chandrika Vitaranam, then you can experience the bliss of Krishna consciousness. The rays of mercy of Krishna, even the rays of mercy that are not so palatable for the senses and the mind. There are many types of Krishna's mercy that are not so palatable in our present way of seeing things. And therefore, we can learn so much from this verse. The mind will take advantage of any situation to become uncontrolled and will justify this lack of control. What could I do? Just like in other religions, they blame it on the devil or whatever. What can I do? The devil made me do it. So we think, sometimes the devotee thinks, what can I do? Maya forced me. No. Maya, her whole duty is to take you to Krishna. That's her duty. That's what she's trying to do. People don't understand that. She gives us all these miseries so that we can become Krishna conscious. And so that we can realize this material world is miserable. Just like Muchukunda Maharaj, when he was praying to Krishna, and he said that I conquered the 10 directions and then I fall at the feet of my queens. And I'm thinking I'm something special. I'm thinking I'm a king. I'm in a different category. I'm in a different tattva. The royal tattva. But when I die, when this body dies, the same worms and the same jackals and the same fire, the same one that consumes everyone else's body will also consume mine. Not that there are special worms for the king, with little crowns, same worms. And so he's saying, what is so special? Actually, being a king or having any position is a greater responsibility of service. The more position you have in society means the more you must serve everyone else. Just like even the Shudras, of course, they're serving all the other Varnas, but the Shudras are supposed to be taken care of by the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, and the Vaishyas. They take care of them. The Vaishyas give them a place to live and some food and some occupation, and they're happy. But nowadays, the Shudras are being exploited. Cheap labor. So cheap labor, we can make more money. They're not being taken care of. In Vedic times, they were not even given money. They were given everything they needed. The Brahmins, just like for everybody, the Brahmins would, many Brahmins were expert in Ayurveda. So if anyone, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, needed some medical treatment, they would arrange for it. And so everything was nicely taken care of. Everyone was seeing oneself as a servant of the others. And the Brahmins were more in that consciousness because they have to give transcendental knowledge and knowledge according to the position of each person. So they had to give this knowledge. And so this is about being responsible. Kasyapa Muni here says, I have not been responsible. And what he says, Patishe narake dhruvam. Patishe, I shall fall down. Narake, to the hellish life. A devotee is always thinking. Just like Srila Prabhupada in his famous, one of his most famous Vyas Puja offering. He said, I know that I have I forget the exact number, but so many crores of births to take. I only want to do so in the service of you, Guru Maharaj. A devotee thinks like that. That certainly I have a hellish existence. I have a hellish destiny. But by the mercy of Sri Guru and Gauranga, I can be saved from that hellish existence. This is humility. And humility doesn't mean to, in a corner, that you're afraid of everything. No, that's not humility, that's cowardness. So, this is one point. Now in the next verse, it begins, Ka atikramo, what great offense has my wife done? Generally speaking, in this world, whoever does something, we try to blame them. That's the first thing we do. If this would have been a material situation, the man would have said, "You stupid woman, why did you do this?" No. But he is intelligent. He says, this is your nature. Your nature is Sri. Your nature is to expand, to want more. We see a very great similarity here between Kashyapa Muni and his wife, and also what happened to Dasharatha and his wife. It was her nature. She wanted to be the mother of the king, and her rather crafty servant also wanted to be the servant of the main queen, not the servant of the subordinate queen. And so, but this was their nature. Dasharatha began to condemn her, and Lakshman even more. He was thinking, let's kill her. And when Dasharatha was favoring her, he told Ramachandra, let's kill him. Otherwise, you have to be the king. But Ramachandra said, no, this is her nature. She's a mother. It's natural that she wants her son to be king. I also want it. He wasn't anxious. He was showing we should be free from external ambitions. Our ambition should be to become a pure devotee of the Lord. That's our ambition. And the only reason we want to be a pure devotee, not because, that way I'll suffer less, I'll be more self-realized. No. The reason is, by being a pure devotee, I can do better service for Krishna. I can do first-class service. If I'm not a pure devotee, my service will be interrupted by the three modes of nature and by material desire. So a devotee thinks like that. And he's thinking, this was her nature as a woman. She had to do this. And he's thinking, it's my fault. I was not vigilant to make sure that my wife was acting properly. And actually, he was thinking, she's doing service to me, a Vaishnava. Even when the wife is offering a service to the husband, or the husband is offering a service, they see that, no, this is all service being offered to Krishna, just like the spiritual master, or anyone in a higher spiritual position. So many people worship them, they bow down, bring gifts, but within the mind, as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, every time a disciple would offer obeisances, he would say, Dasosmi, that I am your servant. I'm taking this position so you can offer something to Krishna, and therefore I must maintain pure consciousness so that it's not, I'd never think it's for me. But Kashyapa Muni was thinking, she's my wife, and she's serving me, and therefore I will enjoy that service. As soon as you think like that, then the chain, your position as a servant offering that service up to Krishna is interrupted. And then you take on the responsibility and the reaction. And this is what's happening here. He's getting the reaction. So Srila Prabhupada emphasizes in his purport that Jiva, Udara, and Upasha, the tongue, the belly, the genitals. Srila Prabhupada said this is a straight line, a chain. If the tongue is agitated, the belly will be agitated. It's like Srila Prabhupada said, perfect eating means you fill the stomach 1/2 with food, 1/4 with water, and 1/4 with air. This is the yogic process. And Prabhupada said, if you do that, you'll never get sick. Generally, we fill up to as high as it can go. You know? Otherwise, I can't get any more in. Then there's no water, or we drink too much water. Just like people are Ayurveda, natural medicine, they say you should chew many times. And also Ayurveda says, as soon as there's some air coming up, you stop. That's the yogic process. But some people, they're so anxious to eat that they're drinking something, especially the materialistic people, they're drinking some cold drink which completely stops the digestion. And then everything is interrupted. So, Srila Prabhupada says, of course, if you eat prasadam, Prabhupada making the point, if you take prasadam and you remember that this is prasadam, when I was fortunate enough to be staying outside of Srila Prabhupada's room, Prabhupada was not so, generally speaking, although sometimes he would have the devotees take prasadam with him in a life member house or some program. Generally, he would take prasadam alone, and he didn't want anyone in the room. Just whoever would bring the chapatis. They would bring a hot chapati, go out, come back in, bring another hot chapati, go out. You know. They would not stay and watch him, because Prabhupada said, one should not observe the spiritual master eating or sleeping, otherwise you would think he's ordinary. You know. So this is, of course, sometimes it may be necessary to be there. And especially, Prabhupada didn't like that they took pictures of him eating. Sometimes devotees would do that, sneak in a picture. I would also sneak up and look in the window when Prabhupada was taking prasadam. And it was so wonderful, because I don't know if he did it every day, but the 3 times that I snuck up and watched him, he would wait about 10 seconds. I could see he was meditating. This is prasadam. And then he would take some and he would hold it like this for like 1 second. You know, just meditating. Here's Krishna. And then he would go. He never touched his mouth, at least when I saw him. Not like us. He just throw it in like that. He was very expert at combining things just in such a way. The rice and the dal, and then he would throw it in his mouth. So anyway, the point is that if you remember it's prasadam, then there's no agitation of the stomach, because you're purifying your existence by this prasadam. So the consciousness is keeping the flow of energy going up, not going down. But if we're thinking, oh, this is great, my favorite dish, and you're just eating without thinking this is Krishna prasadam, then it can agitate the belly, and the belly can agitate the genital. As Srila Prabhupada says, makes it very strong. But especially if you eat foods that are too passionate. Of course, no devotee will eat meat and wine, as Srila Prabhupada mentions here. But sometimes we eat too much chili. That's passionate. That can agitate. Too much heavy spices. Too much oil. Too much ghee. This is all passionate. Becomes very... Ghee is in goodness. But too much ghee, or too much of anything, then it means that you're in passion. I want to enjoy. And then, not that prasadam should not be enjoyed. It should be enjoyed. But enjoyed remembering that this is Krishna. Not that I just am surrendered to the taste. So Kashyapa Muni realized sometimes we make a mistake. In the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 11th canto, chapter 20, verses 27 and 28, it gives us a very good indication of what do you do if the senses are a bit out of control. Now, if they're completely out of control, like adantago vir vishatam tamisram, if you're diving to, then you probably can't do much about it. But if you realize, oh, I have this little attachment, then the Bhagavatam recommends that you hear and chant about Krishna with great faith and devotion. But if there's, and you always realize by hearing Shastra that the material energy and material life is miserable. And then when there's some attachment, some desire to enjoy, you may fall victim to it. But immediately you will feel some repentance. That, why did I do that? Next time, Krishna, please help me. Please help me. As Arjuna asked Krishna, why do we do this? Why do we know something is not good, why do we do it? Krishna says, Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajuguna, Samudbhavaha. Mode of passion. Therefore, a devotee always tries to be situated in the mode of goodness, not in passion. Of course, sometimes, and if one is in passion, if one's nature is very passionate, then one has to take shelter of Shastra and Guru and Sadhu. One has to take advice. Just like Arjuna, he's passionate. He has to fight, but he's taking complete shelter of Krishna. Krishna being his charioteer means that a devotee always has Krishna within the heart guiding him. Always we're and if we can't see Paramatma in the heart by mystical meditation, then what do? External manifestation of Paramatma, Sri Guru. We always keep the instructions of the spiritual master in the forefront. As Srila Prabhupada said, meditating on Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's purport to understanding the spiritual master, he says that the spiritual master is my life and soul. That there is only one thing in my life which means to satisfy the orders of the spiritual master. Even if I'm in a happy material condition or the most miserable conditions of material existence, it doesn't matter. The only thing that's important is the order of the spiritual master. And so Srila Prabhupada, he refers to that, and he says one should always think that the orders of the spiritual master is my life and my soul. My soul means the very essence of my existence. Then one will be happy. So, if we do that, then there's a little analogy here, which is that the husband is the guide. So we are all Prakriti. And who is our husband? Our husband is Shastra, Guru, Shastra, Sadhu. So because we are Prakriti, we always take the guidance. One time, some women who were very much into women's liberation, they came to see Srila Prabhupada in Chicago. And so they were, came in like fighting spirit. This Swami, he's a misogynist. He's against women. He wants women to be subordinate. So they started, they introduced themselves. And Prabhupada said, yes, we are all women. We are all Prakriti. You are woman, I am woman. Woman is the greatest. We are all woman. There is only woman. And he said, the problem is, everyone wants to be Purusha, both man and woman. This is the problem. So let us all be Prakriti, like your movement. And they started smiling and happy, and they left. So he said, let Krishna be Purusha. Let God be Purusha. We'll all be Prakriti. And so they were happy. Prabhupada was very expert. He knew how to, something, very rare cases, some Mayavadi or something would bother Srila Prabhupada and not surrender. But generally speaking, people were amazed by Srila Prabhupada's ability to think of the exact right things to say. So here it says that we should not be victim to the urges of the senses. And the first verse of Nectar of Instruction, Vacho Vegam, Manasakroda Vegam. The first thing he mentions, Vacho Vegam, you have to control your speech. And how do we control our speech? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. We chanting the holy name. No. And Manasa, how do we control the mind? By chanting and by hearing. No. Krodha Vegam. And how do we control anger? By using anger. Anger is useful. No. Sometimes you have to get angry. The guru has to be angry at the disciple. The leader has to be angry at the follower. The mother has to be angry with the child. But it has to be controlled. It has to come from love and concern and service. That anger is good. Krishna told Arjuna to be angry. You have to become so angry that you will kill thousands of people. That's a pretty strong anger. But that anger was out of love for Krishna. Yes, Krishna wants me to be angry, I will be angry. No problem. No. So, and then, Jiva, it starts with the tongue, with chanting Hare Krishna. Then Manasa, controlling the mind by chanting and hearing Shastra. Krodha Vegam, we control anger by using it only in the proper way. Jiva, and we control the eating, the other aspect of the tongue. Udara upasta vegan, and that way we can control the belly and the genital. Then etan vegan yo vishate dhira. If we do this, then we become dhira. We become very sober, very serious about spiritual life. Dhira doesn't mean that we're not happy. It doesn't mean we're like, we're happy. Devotees are happy, especially in kirtan and service to Krishna. They should always be happy. And but solemn. Before the senses, before material nature, we're serious. And before Krishna and chanting the holy name, we're very happy, very blissful. And so, if we do this, then we can preach all over the world. We can, it means one, Rupa Goswami says that Pritivim Sasishat, one can be, make disciples all over the world. That's how important. Otherwise, what it's saying is, if one is really guru, whether you're a little guru or a big guru, micro guru or macro guru, whatever kind of guru you are, you have to be. The symptom to be a guru. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says we all have to be guru. It's not like there's one person he's initiating and everybody else is just fault. No, everybody has to be a guru. Everybody. So that means that we all must do these things. We must have these things under control. And because the material nature, I will conclude with this. Prahlad Maharaj analyzed what will life be like in this world. He said, Tasmat priya priya biyoga samyoga janma. Interesting. Priya apriya and biyoga samyoga. So priya, when there's something we like, then viyoga. Generally, we're separated from it. Otherwise, as soon as you try to enjoy, you will be separated. And apriya samyoga. No? And those things which we don't like so much will be put together with them. That's the nature of this world. It's all meant to keep you from being attached to unnecessary things. Janma. No? We take birth in this material world, shokagnina, sakala jonishu, taking all kinds of different bodies, which all result in lamentation. Dahyamana. We're burning in this fire of lamentation. And why are we doing that? Dukaushadam, tadapi dukam. Because we're looking for dukaushada, a means to stop suffering. But tadapi dukam, generally it requires more effort than just accepting destiny. Whatever difficulty will come from destiny. Atadhyaham. And we're always using our intelligence to try to enjoy this body. So he says, Prahlad Maharaj, the solution, bhumam ramami, ramami vadume tapadasya yogam. That, my dear Lord, because I'm wandering in this material world under these conceptions, trying to enjoy but always suffering, the fire of lamentation, trying to get rid of suffering. But my Lord, just please instruct me how to become your servant. Dasya yoga. Dasya yoga. The bhakti yoga is dasya yoga. But first we practice seriously dasya yoga, the yoga of being the servant. And then it flourishes in the form of bhakti. So if we do this, then the miseries of material existence will go away. We'll always have clarity in the mind, and we will be able to avoid this situation. And the last comment on this verse is that if Kashyapa Muni could be bewildered like this, what to speak of ourselves? By the way, this is a big warning. Here's Kashyapa Muni meditating, such a powerful yogi, such a powerful Brahman, and look at what happens. So we have to be very careful. Even many times I've mentioned that even if you see someone in Maya, then we should think, as Srila Prabhupada instructs us, as the Bhagavatam instructs us, as Rupa Goswami instructs us, we should respect a devotee even if they're having difficulty. And if somehow or another we're connected with someone by destiny that's having difficulty, we should think, thank you very much. You're showing me what to avoid. Krishna has sent this person who's in a moment of difficulty to show me the power of Maya. Thank you very much. Now let me try to serve you. You served me by showing me how miserable Maya is. Let me show you how wonderful Krishna is. Let me give you Mahaprasadam. Let me invite you. Please come back to the temple. You're having some difficulty. We're missing you. Make the devotee feel wanted. And Prabhu, you're so important. I saw this Jayananda Prabhu. There was one devotee, he had the flu, very bad flu. I was like, chowder over his head, eyes half closed. And so Jayananda Prabhu was finishing building the cart with some other devotees. And he came to that devotee. He said, Prabhu, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm miserable, suffering. He said, oh, I can see that. We're very sorry. Why don't you come and just sit on the cart? And, we're missing your association. Just come and sit on the cart. And, and just by seeing you, we will be inspired. That will be very grateful that Krishna has given us the strength and health so we can build this cart for Lord Jagannath and have Rath Yatra. So the devotee got up, got on the cart. Jayananda's working, smiling at him. And he goes, Jayananda took off his chadar and started helping. So by the enthusiasm of Jayananda, he even forgot about his sickness. And so by the enthusiasm, by our enthusiasm, we can enliven others who may be having difficulty in spiritual life. We should never condemn them. Unless, of course, we have the position where they're creating a disturbance, then we have to take action. But otherwise, we should try to enliven them by our example, by our humility, by our desire to serve. These are some thoughts on this verse. I'll stop here. Any comments or questions? Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so much for the wonderful lecture. Maharaj, as you were telling in the lecture that that when we see someone or somebody in difficulty, we should encourage them and should not be feeling secluded. So so what about that situation when they try to influence us also, they can say that you come to my place also, I come to your place. So there can be a risk also that we should also stay away from them. So how to do?
Well, therefore we stay at the door. We go to the door, give them some maha and say, please come to the temple. No. We don't go into the den of Maya. No. So stay at the doorway on Krishna's side. No. Of course, if somebody is just trying to tempt you and say, Prabhu, I'm sorry, I'm not like you. I can't do these things and remain Krishna conscious. No. If I do what you're inviting me to do, I'll be in Maya. Somehow or another, you seem to have the power that you can remember Krishna and serve Maya at the same time. No. So I'm not so capable. No. You can say like that. And sometimes people are very, they don't respond. But they will respond. Even if they say, why, you're just fanatical, or, just I don't want to hear from you. But it will go into their subconscious. And they will remember that kindness. And in some moment of difficulty, it will respond. And of course, if they take the prasadam, then they'll get purified. So there's never a fault in trying. Srila Prabhupada said, we go to someone and we try to give them Krishna consciousness. It's up to Krishna whether they take it or not. But we try. And that effort will enliven them at some point in time. Maybe not immediately. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for the lecture. Maharaj, sometimes I do some service. That time my mind is not Krishna consciousness. I'm thinking about something else. Maybe I'm not thinking about anything, but not Krishna consciousness. So how can I think about Krishna when I'm doing some service?
Welcome to the club. Everybody has the same problem. So when we think that my problem is unique, then we're separating ourselves. My mind is not like everybody else seems to be, they have control, but my mind is a special one. It's like especially empowered by Maya, and therefore we're opening the door to surrendering to Maya. We should just think everything is there in Prabhupada's books. And I just have to respond better. Of course, we all have that experience. We're chanting the holy name, the mind wanders. Everybody has that experience. Even Prabhupada. Sometimes Prabhupada would be thinking about some not that he was in Maya, but I mean just sometimes Prabhupada would be thinking about some managerial matter, and he would you could always tell when he was being bothered by some, because he would get up and walk back and forth quickly. And that was like because there was something, so he would get up so that the chanting, he would chant a little louder, and even Prabhupada. But it wasn't like he was in Maya, but he felt something is distracting me from chanting. So, it's not that, as Prabhupada said, the spiritual master is not omniscient. The spiritual master simply does everything to please Krishna. So, even the material energy can bother any of us. But immediately the pure devotee rises above it. But he tries to, pure devotee also tries to avoid. Like Prabhupada, if a door slammed, he would become very disturbed. And he would call the devotee, who has let this door slam? Or if somebody was speaking too loudly, when he was translating, he would tell the devotees to stop. He's a pure devotee. But, as long as we have a material body, these interferences will bother us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, you have said that in Brahmachari ashram we don't have personal life and we should serve 24/7. So question is that sometimes, let's say, if we serve in this mood and if it is impacting our sadhana, reading, hearing, chanting, so let's say if I am serving whole day book distribution and then sleep at night, and in chanting also I am thinking about how to increase sales of books. So how to understand this serving 24/7? How to understand this serving 24/7 in Brahmacharya?
24 hours means that when I take rest, Krishna, this body belongs to you, and therefore it requires some rest, and therefore I will allow it to rest, and please wake me up as soon as the body is rested so I can glorify you, chant your holy name, and serve your lotus feet. We can pray like that, and then the sleep becomes sanctified. Not like, I'm going to dive into the nectar of ignorance. No. Finally, I can just go to sleep and forget about everything. If we meditate like this, then it becomes 24 hours. We're eating, we're taking prasadam. We're bathing, we're taking care of the body that belongs to Krishna. Even if we have to defend ourselves, that's all right if you defend the body, if you remember it belongs to Krishna. If this body is for serving Krishna, it belongs to Krishna, I have to defend it. But if you defend it out of false ego, then it may not be so, you may not have the same spiritual outcome. So, I think we'll stop here because of time. Everybody has their part of their 24-hour service coming up now. So, all glory to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi.